Phil Robertson of Duck Dynasty dies at 79. Stroke cited as cause of death. "I'm ready to go home," were his final words. May 26, 2025, West Monroe, Louisiana. Phil Robertson, the outspoken patriarch of the Robertson family and co-creator of the Duck Commander empire, has died at the age of 79. The iconic outdoorsman and reality television star passed away peacefully at his Louisiana home after suffering a major stroke, family members confirmed. In his final moments, surrounded by loved ones, Robertson uttered his last words, "I'm ready to go home." The moment, as described by his son, Willie, was quiet, holy, and full of peace. It marked the end of a remarkable life that began in rural poverty and ended in global recognition. Humble beginnings, unshakable beliefs. Born April 24, 1946, in Vivian, Louisiana, Phil Robertson came from modest means. Raised with his 6 siblings in a house without electricity or plumbing, Phil learned the value of hard work early on. Hunting and fishing weren't just hobbies, they were survival. His talents extended beyond the woods. He was a star athlete and earned a football scholarship to Louisiana Tech University, where he played as starting quarterback. Though he had potential for an NFL career, Robertson famously turned away from football to pursue a quieter life in the woods. "I traded cleats for camouflage and I never looked back," he said in a 2013 interview. Duck Commander, a family business takes flight. In 1973, Robertson invented and patented the Duck Commander duck call, an innovation that revolutionized waterfowl hunting. The business, which began in a small shed, grew rapidly over the decades and became a full-fledged family operation. With the help of his wife, Kay, and their sons, especially Willie, the Duck Commander brand grew into a multi-million-dollar enterprise, built not just on calls and gear, but on faith and family values. The company's Christian message and Southern identity helped cultivate a deeply loyal fan base. The Robertsons weren't just selling hunting gear, they were selling a way of life. From swamp to screen, Duck Dynasty, fame. In 2012, the family's lives changed forever with the debut of Duck Dynasty on A&E. The reality show chronicled the lives of Phil, Kay, and their extended family as they ran their business, hunted, prayed, and argued, often in humorous and heartfelt ways. The show ran for 11 seasons, attracting tens of millions of viewers and turning the Robertsons into cultural icons. Phil, with his long beard, gravely voice, and Bible-centric worldview, became the face of the series. While the show brought massive fame, it also brought controversy. Robertson's traditional and often blunt religious opinions drew criticism and brief suspensions, but also sparked passionate support from conservative audiences. Phil never compromised, said longtime family friend and pastor Mike Kellett. He spoke truth as he saw it, and he didn't care what it cost him. A man transformed behind the fame was a powerful story of redemption. Phil openly spoke of his wild youth, marked by alcohol abuse, infidelity, and anger, before he surrendered his life to Jesus Christ in the 1970s. His conversion was the cornerstone of his identity and message. He spent much of his post-television life preaching, writing books, and sharing his testimony at churches and conferences. Titles like Happy, 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 and Uncancelled made bestseller lists and offered readers insight into the faith that defined his choices. "If God can change a man like me," Phil would often say, "he can change anyone." Final days and family legacy. In early May 2025, Phil suffered a serious stroke and was rushed to a hospital in Monroe. After several days of monitoring, the family made the decision to bring him home for hospice care. In his final hours, he was surrounded by Kay, their sons, Willie, Jace, Jep, and Alan, as well as numerous grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Family members say he remained lucid, calm, and prayerful. As the sun rose over the bayou on May 26th, Phil whispered his final words. "I'm ready to go home." He passed away minutes later. Outpouring of tributes. News of Robertson's passing prompted a tidal wave of tributes across social media and major news outlets. Franklin Graham, son of the late evangelist Billy Graham, tweeted, "Phil Robertson was a warrior for Christ, a man of conviction and grace. His voice will be missed, but his testimony lives on." Sarah Huckabee Sanders, governor of Arkansas, wrote, "He was a Southern icon who stood strong in faith and family. Rest easy, Mr. Robertson. Even former President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, calling Phil a great American, a real man of God, and a true original. Beyond TV, a lasting mission. In the years after Duck Dynasty, Phil focused his energy on Unashamed, a podcast and digital ministry he co-hosted with his sons. The show reached millions of listeners and provided an unfiltered look at their faith, family dynamics, and cultural commentary. Robertson also spearheaded the Restoration House, a nonprofit aimed at helping men coming out of addiction and prison find redemption through faith, work, and community. His family has announced plans to launch the Phil Robertson Foundation, dedicated to spreading the gospel, supporting outdoor ministries, and mentoring at-risk youth. Dad's greatest joy was seeing people transformed by God, said Willie. We're going to keep that mission going. Funeral plans. The Robertson family will hold a private funeral later this week at White's Ferry Road Church, followed by a public celebration of life in West Monroe. Fans will be able to live stream the service and share their condolences online. In place of flowers, the family requests donations be made to Restoration House Ministries or the Phil Robertson Foundation. Conclusion: a voice that won't be silenced. Phil Robertson was more than a duck hunter. He was a man who built an empire on honesty, a voice that dared to say what others wouldn't, and a symbol of traditional values in a fast-changing world. From Bayou to broadcast, he stayed true to who he was, never polished, never fake, just Phil. And while the world may have changed, his message never did. He lived by Scripture, he loved his family, he stood tall in faith, and in the end, he went home on his own terms, with peace in his heart and faith on his lips. I'm ready to go home. May he rest in eternal peace.